Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment, now is your time. So prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Welcome to the climb up, reach for the summit. Visions brave and one false step lead the end. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. This is your moment. Take to the skies, go. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. It is you fight among the dead beneath the dirt. Or do you know yet? Or do you want it? And when the giants call to ask you what you're worth, do you know yet? We don't die. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Pick up your weapon and face it. Rise. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. You can chase it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to TCWC Melee. How we doing? How are we doing? I know Damokos is at work. He has put enough booties that I'm aware. Do it, Ruby. Do it. But how are we doing? It's been a little bit. Sorry for perpetually skipping a week. It's kind of just what's become the norm. We just get only 3 shows per month. It's fine. per show. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Everything's fine. I do apologize in advance if there's any weirdness with the stream as the day progresses. We aren't... What the... Thank you for resubscribing, Kenshin. Thank you, Moon. I appreciate it, Moon. I appreciate it. Crap, what was I saying? Yes, I do apologize if things get a little bit delayed today. I am not in line for storms, but they're skirting me and they might move up. So apologies in advance if there's a random cutout. There's a storm. I'm letting that one through. Wait, no, the auto mod didn't let it through. The auto mod said no. Despite me saying yes, the auto mod said no. Hides at work, stops hiding for 2 minutes, clocks out for 30-minute break. Yes, story of my life in retail right there. Hide for as much as I can, clock out for breaks, continue onward. However, before I delay things any further, I suppose it is time to begin the streaming. So to start the evening, there is a promo to do. Leo Carr is smiling, standing backstage, the emblem of the Prodigies on the screen behind him. Immediately after Northern Voyage, and I have another busy night. Tonight we aren't going to have any draws. Howard can say what he likes, but I've beaten him before, and I'll do it again. Because that skyline is only mine. You cannot keep up with my pace tonight. None of you can. You ain't got the tools you need. And me and Damien, we are born for this shit. This is our place. And we are getting those tag team titles. And after that, I'm going to be leaving tonight as a double champion. You ain't got the tempo for this show. And with that, we're going to be headed straight into our show opener of the evening. It is going to be a little bit of a rematch after the last match ended in draw at Northern Voyage. The Prodigies taking on the Vigilantes for the Melee Unified Tag Team Champions. Harold, I will pay you to let me bring back my top rope stomp for Liam. No. Just no. Oh, give me just a moment. How are things going, Cole? How are things? No, Colt. You're not 15 minutes late. I just finished reading that. You're not 15 minutes late. I do a 10-minute lead up. You're only like 5 minutes late. I'm doing decently. My allergies are starting to subside a little bit so I can actually breathe, and it's been wonderful. Energy beams, you don't do it. Breathing is great, right? So underrated. I literally did some cardio today and then could not function for like 20 minutes because I was just out. Just could not catch my breath. It was so bad. However, entering was a pancakes for five. Entering first here tonight, it is the Dragon, Damian Morris, and your natural and maestro, Leo Carr. They are the prodigies, and not for the first time, they are on the hunt for the Melee Unified Tag Team Championship. Unfortunately, they got the one and only draw so far here in the TCWC season. Last show, when the Vigilantes took them to a draw on countout. Wait, what is this? Give me a second, Dr. Peters. Give me a second. However, welcome in your unified champions, Jackie Garcia and Chris Dalton, the Vigilantes. They have been the unified tag team champions since those belts were introduced at the beginning of this season back in May. And they were the mixed tag champions before that. So what is this? I'm hosting a comedy show on Wednesday, and here's my opening joke. I'm moving from Minnesota, where the Ducks are my desert pizza fishes. Tampa Ducks. They will steal your fries, hit your grandma, and then file for unemployment under your shade.
Introducing the challengers at a combined weight of 401 pounds. The natural Leo Carr and the Dragon, Damian Morris.
You've chosen violence, Brayden. You've chosen violence.
And their opponents, the Universal Tag Team Champions.
I hate the Ducks here. They loiter on the street. They act just like New
And
Yorkers.
Christopher Dalton, the Outlaws.
Natural born enemy has been discovered, and it has wings. Why are you just describing Canadian geese? Why are you just describing Canadian geese? And refereeing this match, it is going to be Madeline Towns. Starting in the ring for both teams, it is Leo for the Prodigies and Jackie for the Vigilantes. Carr trying to get off to an early start, but Jackie having other ideas, trying to get a little bit of a hammerlock in, but that is a big elbow from Carr to get him out of dodge. Nice close on found, looking for an early pin. We have got a 1, we've got a 2, but there's not going to be a 3. Nice hip toss out of Garcia. And trying to line him up for something rumbling a bulldog, but it is denied for a cutter. But one way or another, it did fail. Carr tagging back in Morris. Garcia being pinned yet again. We've got one, but only that one. Geese can get these hands too. They have long necks, good for strangling. Their necks into a knot. We've chosen so much violence. And good for swinging. Yes. However, Leo Carr back in for the Prodigies, and Garcia trying to find some offense, but Leo given too much space to operate. Another big clothesline, but knee to the gut and reversal on that Irish whip though, and Leo back in control. Carr finding another clothesline, that's this time rolling through. Leo was going to tag in Damien, but now going after Dalton after that hot tag, and actually getting him picked up for a nice power bomb. Leo up from the middle rope. No, cannot quite find that moonsault, but there is a big boot from Carr. He's got him rolled up for a pin attempt, but only in a one onto Dalton. Chris cannot get back on the offense, but does evade that chop out of Leo. Off the ropes goes Carr, and the Maestro does not get caught with that power slam. Gets himself out of dodge, and Dalton set up in the corner of the Prodigies. Morris now looking for a little bit of a double team with Carr. Nice double shoulder tackle, and it is Damien now stalking his prey. Stopping to the leg of Dalton. Chris was definitely trying to roll over, get himself back up, but that was a vicious set of kicks to the head. Does roll himself out, but steps back in almost immediately. But Damien caught off guard, reversal on the Irish whip. But that elbow strike will not land. But that strike across the face will. Morris forced to fight back out a second time. But Dalton finding an elbow of his own. Nice little backdrop. Nice set of strikes, but cannot keep him down despite Jackie trying. Roll up onto Dalton for the second time. Hosting a comedy show is like being a wrestling rep. I'm not the star, but if the fight breaks out, I'm getting hit first. Big kick to the gut, and now nice little alley-oop bomb. Damien rolling out rather than going for the pin. Dalton trying to find a hot tag onto Garcia, but not being able to find it. Going after the leg now of Chris. Morris looking for the pin. There's one. There's two. Solid kick out at 2, though. That's awesome that you actually get a hosted, though, Steven. Jackie in to break up that pin attempt. Nice moonsault off of the ropes. But now coming back in for the Prodigies, it is Leo Carr. Up to him up from the top. His own attempt at that moonsault has failed. Whipped into the corner of the Vigilantes. And now for the first time, Garcia and Dalton working together for a nice hip toss. Leo Carr trying to get by his feet, and there is a high note to the jaw of Garcia. There's one, there's two, no 3. But Dalton did step in. That might come back to haunt the Vigilantes here, especially now that that kick has been denied. Leo Carr got the roll over on Garcia, single leg Boston Crab, but immediately broken out of by Garcia. Jackie whipping him back into the corner, and Carr is on the receiving end of another double team from Garcia and Dalton. Leo still has another match here on the evening. Whether or not he wins this, he needs to keep himself as fresh as possible. But there is a quick draw from Dalton. Chris, not even heading to the top rope, finding a nice senton. The evil wish has arrived. Damien being caught by Dalton for a moment, but fighting his way out. We are up to a 9 of 15. Chris back on his feet. Leo still not stirring up, though. Nice super kick out of Damien. Leo back on his feet. We're up to 11. And now Carr not bringing him back into the ring just yet. We're up to 13. Leo Damien! I have to consult with Kynes on that one. I think Dalton was in the ring. However, Madeline has ruled it a victory by count out for the Prodigies. However, that does mean that the titles do not change hands.
Here are your winners.
What's happening?
Damian Morris and the Natural Leo Carr, the Awesome Ones.
But while you're victors, the titles do not change hands. Give me just a moment. Vigilantes remain your Melee Unified Tag Team Champions. After the Prodigies win by countout. What is, wait, Dr. Peters, you went from talking about you hosting a comedy competition, not gonna a comedy show, and now Darth Vader just divorced Roomba with asthma? By the way, congratulations, Steven, for being able to host a show. That's awesome. I know you'd probably rather be in the show, but it's awesome to be able to host it. You can get these hands if you keep this on Mystic. What is happening? What is happening in chat right now? What violence has begun? Ah. I see. And yes, I am friends with Gab Applejob, but you don't need to tell everyone that you're joining ACW. I saw that you also did it on King's stream. So I know you're excited, and I appreciate that you're excited, but we don't all need to know. However, the next match on the docket for this evening is going to be Hana Sakamoto taking on KC Lee over in the Ascendant division. Now, Hannah did not have a very successful singles debut here in TCWC, unfortunately. moment. There we go. Sorry, weird thing happened on my side of things. What is happening? What is happening, Toadstool? Why are you sad? Why are you giving sad faces? Oop. It's alright. We're accidentally changing venues for a moment. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the change of venue.
And the participants, first, representing the Kabuki Warriors from Osaka, Japan, the Prodigy, Anna Sakamoto.
I don't think Hana or Yuri got started the way they wanted to with the Kabuki Cutthroats. Unfortunately, they were unable to find a success in their very first match in TCWC. And Hannah now trying to find a little bit of success while she waits for the tag division to get re-warmed back up. But unfortunately, VV Strides took her down last week. We'll have to see if she can change that fate here. Casey Lee is a former Tussle Capital champion.
Her opponent from Apple Valley, Minnesota, Casey Lee.
But can she start finding her own level of success? AEW is just a wrong spelling of you. I didn't know you had such strong opinions about AEW, Dr. Peters. The Force is just why I present. We've got many a hot take coming out of Steven as this match begins. Why are you pissed, Steven? Refereeing this match, it is Xavier Knight. However, a bit of chain wrestling to start things off. And Casey Lee did not giving it a clean breakup after things reached the corner. And immediately follows it up with a suplex. Lee not here to make friends, as she made very clear when she went after her former teammate in Danny Fonseca a few weeks ago. And immediately now trying to find a roll-up onto Sakamoto. There's one, but only getting that one for now. Turning it into an octopus stretch, but cannot keep it locked in. Sakamoto trying to find some strike, but just being denied. So far, Lee countering everything that counts. Sakamoto kicked out of the ring, and nice! No! Hurricanrana denied! But Casey continuing to fight forward. That was a beautiful counter out of Hannah, but it just does not manage to give her any real momentum. She does manage to find a little bit of a pop-up Hurricanrana there, and now outside the ring, Getting her locked in with a nice submission hold. But Casey, repeated kicks to the head, does manage to get herself out of dodge for now. We're up to a 5 of 15, and whipped out across it is Hannah. Casey stepping back inside the ring. Steven, it's Dr. Peters! Hannah unable to find offense in this match thus far. And now off the ropes she goes. And Lee with a nice little hip toss neck breaker. And getting her rolled over. An attempt at a sleeper hold, but cannot prevent a rope break from occurring. Got her up on the shoulders. Actually, yes, bring her to the center. Looking for the pin attempt now. We've got one. Only gonna be that one. What was that? Lee from the top rope. Nice crossbody found onto Hannah. Sakamoto dragged back up to her feet very slowly, but cannot stop the drop kick. Hannah needs to start finding offense. Finds a good little takedown onto Lee and a nice knee strike. This could be Sakamoto's opening. Lee has been in control thus far. Nice drop kick found. And now trying to get back up to her feet, but Lee elbow drop and locks in a triangle choke immediately. Trying to get her to tap out, but cannot do so. Nice escape from Hannah, but I don't know how much more she has left to give after that, especially as KC breaks out yet again. That clothesline is evaded for now. But a nice powerbomb found. Rope break before it can even really get called in for a pin, though. Xavier Knight happy to call the rope breaks, even if they are not being made by the star themselves. Bit of a Samoa Joe spot right there, but there's a nice dragon cutter. We have got a 1, we've got a 2, and no 3. That was damn close. Drive back up to her feet. Nice knee strike. Hannah firing back on all cylinders despite the damage she's taken. She might have an opening here. She's calling Lee back up to her feet, but this is a dangerous game. Another nice drop kick. Lee finally stirring back up. Getting back up to her feet. Sakamoto eyeing her up. Nice elbow. Some to the gut, but she gets a kick to her own gut as a return. And now, prevents the clothesline yet again. And nice suplex found by Sakamoto. Hannah eyeing up Lee. Trying to get off the middle rope now. But cannot find that cutter. And not for the first time. Big elbow. And now off the ropes, does get a nice little neck breaker. Looking for the pin off of it. We've got 1, we've got 2. Lee, solid kick out at 2. And Hannah up to that middle rope. The 450 moonsault does not land. And now KC lining her up for the rictus. Looking for the pin attempt now. There's 1, there's 2, and no 3. KC fighting out, and they have made this into a match. Lee had control of the early portions, but Hannah managing to regain control in the middle of the match. And now, beautiful reversal. Lining her up across the middle rope. Try and get her set up. Nice! 619. Landed. And not even looking for the next step, looking for the pin. There's 2. And there is 3. Hana Sakamoto takes the win. Did you hear about the preacher that blamed his crypto scam on God? I did not hear about that. That's wild. I'm trying to be a superstar jobber. I want to be a superstar who interrupts most matches like R-Truth, but never wins. So I'm like the Miz or Prime single Cesaro. I can't agree with that one, Dr. Peters. I can't agree with that one. If you can send me a link to that, Brayden, I'm fascinated. The amazing poster providing information on this strange creature. Dant DM. Oh my god, I need to look up who this is because I recognize that name.
Here is your winner, the Prodigy,
Hana picking up a very big win over a former Capital champion. And Casey Lee once again put out when she is looking for the lights. I wish I knew who. I wish I knew more than I recognize the name. I don't remember Dan TDM. Oh my god. However, next match up on the docket for this evening, we're going to head over to the Men's Ascendant Division. It is going to be Raymond Warwick taking on El Diablo. But El Diablo does have some words. Raymond, te pones en insultos a cualquiera que se mueva, cuando nos encontramos en el ring. Te daré la paliza más brutal. With a translation appearing on the bottom of the screen. Raymond, you flaunt around, insult anyone and anything that moves. When we meet in the ring, I will give you your most hellish beating. Hello, Gab. Thank you for subscribing for this 9 months. How are things? How are things? Hey everyone. Okay, wait. Hey everyone, Dan here from the Diamond Minecraft. Oh, my Diamond Minecraft. Okay, I know who this is. I know who Dan TDM is. Oh my god. Sleeper agent activated. I remember watching those with videos with Frog Boy. To those who do not know who Frog Boy is, he is a childhood friend of mine. Boom. So it's a family therapy session with lightsabers and worse haircuts. Busy nonstop. My goodness, let it stop. That is fair. As far as I can tell you, the busyness does not stop. I've been wanting the busyness to stop for like 3 months, and it never has. Right, though, I've been trying to catch up with the VODs, and I'm so sorry I've been able to stand. You are just fine, Gab. You are just fine. We've all been busy lately.
And the participants, first from London, England, weighing in at 232 pounds, Raymond Wood.
Entering first here, it is a former member of the Barons. Finding his first victory here in TCWC 2 weeks ago over Edward Godwin. It is Raymond Warwick, the Crew Gentleman. Why did I think that was O'Neal? They do have very similar facial hair. That will be why. 100% it's the facial hair and hairstyle.
And his opponent from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico,
Especially last
weighing in
season.
at 218 pounds.
Wait, what? Okay, my bad, Braden. I thought I got the right El Diablo. I don't think I have the right one. That's right, yeah, that's right, though. I think I accidentally deleted the wrong one after I downloaded the right one. I will fix that after this stream. I will get the right one downloaded tonight. Not bad. How did I notice by looking at this asshole that he'd have the Ethan Page motion? Diablo and Raymond going back and forth. Early pin attempt now out of Diablo. There's two. Only going to be a one, though. Refereeing this match, it is going to be Alicia Hernandez. However, nice escape by Raymond. Looking for some strikes now onto Diablo. Nice set of punches and a brutal stomp to part ways. But Diablo dodging out of the way, but cannot stay on the offense. Forced to find another escape. But Raymond happy to return the favor. But reversal on the Irish whip puts Diablo back in control. Nice little mushroom stomp. And now El Diablo up to the top rope. Knee strike, it does not land. You're a good guy. Nice little sling blade. And now El Diablo cannot find the senton. Looking for the pin. There's only, again, a barely not 2 count. This time in favor of Warwick. But now caught in a little bit of a grapple. Caught along the ropes. Warwick and Diablo parted by Hernandez in a surprisingly clean break. Immediately back at it though. Diablo cannot get in control of the exchange thus far. Torque onto his shoulder by Raymond, but a transition immediately to a headlock by Warwick. The gentleman trying to wear him down, but thrown off the ropes. El Diablo cannot find that mushroom stop though, and now exchanging blows near the corner of the ring. Warwick is not looking to try and escape this by going into the corner. Instead, just accepting that they're really going back and forth. But El Diablo not having a good time of things in this exchange. Gets caught with a brutal series of kicks before being swept back down. Warwick lined up from across the ring. Nice clothesline. The back of Diablo, and now the gentleman landing the KMA. There's two, but no 3 count this time. Diablo trying to pull away from Raymond, cannot get him to let go, but a nice drop kick to the knee. But Warwick still in control. Diablo not really getting onto the offensive here. However, nice little roll-up might be enough to get Warwick surprised for a 3. Escapes out before a 1, though. Telling him to come on, and Diablo happy to oblige. Drops him across that top rope. El Diablo calling out, and Warwick back on his feet. Nice forearm. Trying to get himself back into things with a nice sling blade. No, trying to get him dragged probably towards a corner. But Warwick gets out of the hold and a nice clothesline found. Diablo is fighting his way back up though. Nice knee into the gut of Warwick. And again, calling out. Diablo off the ropes. Drop kick is denied. Rolled out of the way of a set of punches from Warwick. But Raymond still in control. Misjudges how much time he has there though, but does find a nice clothesline. Warwick up from the middle rope, finds a nice pair of axe handles onto Diablo, looking for the pin. There's 2. There is 3. Diablo could not get his foot in the door. Got a bit of a quick start with an early 2 count in favor of him. But that door closed on his face. And the cruel gentleman just plowing through. What? I am surprised the axe handles were enough, but perhaps exhaustion had come into play. Telling the crowd to kiss his ass. I may be screwed, just don't let Harold see. What is happening, Jackson? What is happening? Okay, what is this rant? You know what bugs me? Rant. Stormtroopers supposed to be trained in kind of depends on the clone troopers in Django, but stormtroopers have the accuracy of a blindfolded toddler throwing spaghetti. I do think it's really funny how much flack the stormtroopers get. Despite the fact that anytime they go up against anyone who doesn't have plot armor, they just get minced. The stormtroopers are weak to plot armor. That's all I can really say to that. Stormtroopers weak to plot armor. I've been spotted. No. Wait, why? You're allowed to be here, Jackson. I'm not the one mad at you. However, the next match up, we're going to be back into the Ascendant Division. It's going to be Vivi Strides taking on Francine Nguyen. Is Lumi in the background? I'm too young to get my ass kicked by Ross and Roxy. You're older than 18. You're not too young for that. I just figured out I have band ability. Dr. Peter, how did you just find this out? Wait, why is Eliza mad at you? Why is Eliza mad at you? What did you do, Jackson? Jackson, what did you do? So it was a date night and I forgot. So she was at a restaurant waiting. I never showed up because, as I said, I forgot. I think Eliza's anger is justified here. I think her anger is justified. You shouldn't forget when it's about date night. Oop. I thought they'd actually fixed the other
First, from Albuquerque, New Mexico, VV Styles!
Did anyone else hear her music for like a split second? However, entering first, it is going to be the quickly rising VV Strides. Picked up a big victory over Hannah 2 weeks ago. Now on the hunt to push her way forward yet again, up against a former Ascendant champion in Francine Nguyen. If she can get through Nguyen, that is going to be a very big win for her.
And her opponent, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Dragon, Francine Nguyen!
Francine Nguyen is formerly one of the longest reigning women's Ascendant champions. So that's not going, I should say, actually not longest reigning. One of the most dominant ones for how far of a reign she had. Let me correct my statement. She defended it 5 times in rapid succession. Unfortunately, the 6th defense was a step too far. But she did almost all of those defenses within an equal number of weeks. And she was the one to dethrone Danny Fonseca. See, Jackson, you want me to have sympathy for you, and then you immediately are like, oh, but I'm eyeing up other people than Eliza over here. I'm eyeing them up. I can only have so much sympathy. However, refereeing this match, it is going to be Sarah Tanner. Vivi and Francine going out for a little bit of a technical bout. Somewhat predictably, Nguyen getting control of this exchange. More experience and a little bit more well known for her use of holds and technical ability. But brute forcing her way out of the situation, it was Strides, but Vivi unable to stay on the offense. But Francine back in control for the moment. Big slap across the face and finding a nice little impaler DDT. Nice set of kicks to the leg, and now nice Hurricanrana to Strides. Nguyen. Kick to the head. Strides cannot get back on the offense though. Big clothesline taken down by Vivi, but Strides unable to stay on the offense for now, and Francine trying to turn this again into a little bit of a technical bout, but Vivi actually getting control of the exchange. This is not the way Nguyen wants things to go, but she finds a nice little backdrop. Looking for a pin onto Strides. We've got one, there's two. No 3 to be found. I think that shows how much energy has taken for Strides to get control of that exchange. Targeting the arm now of Strides is Nguyen. I can't say that's the most reliable strategy. Vivi is no more as a high flyer, but Strides again getting control of that little breakup. Is a clean breakup. However, Francine trying to find a nice set of kicks. Nguyen, though, was not prepared and now rolled up by Vivi. Nice maneuver by Strides to get out of dodge. Off the ropes, finds a nice moonsault. I will play VR while I listen to engage with the rebounds. Roll up now out of Nguyen, but only find about a 1.5. Nguyen, nice little suplex found onto Vivi. And now Strides on the back end of a brutal series of strikes, following up with a nice... Crap, I can't remember the name of that move. Crap. I hit that, I can't remember that. Back driver. Nguyen taking too much time to make a decision. And Vivi fighting for some level of control. But again, Francine showing off her technical prowess, finding more counters, trying to control the pace of things. But Vivi fighting back as best as she can. But trying to drag her just a little bit too far. Nguyen breaking out of that hold. And Francine unable to get any real offense, though, at that point. Vivi was able to counter, but immediately out of the hold again is Nguyen. Set up in the corner, not for the first time. And now fighting her way out of it. But again, Vivi just trying too hard to try and get her dragged somewhere. perhaps a downside to her style, but there is a brutal poison rana. We've got a 1, we've got a 2, no 2. Off the ropes goes Nguyen. Nice little moonsault. Looking for the pin yet again. We've got 1, we've got 2. Kick out by Vivi, but things starting to get a little bit closer. Nguyen got her off the ropes, but a little bit too close to actually make use of it. Instead, Strides actually came back on the offense. Now off the ropes, finds a nice cross body. Slow to get back up to her feet, but now another standing moonsault. Quick rope break called out of Tanner. Back on the offense though, and Vivi got her on the ropes. Next maneuver, gets over her back, and a nice little head scissors into a drop kick, and Vivi firing on all cylinders. Getting her lined up for the cardiac kick. We've seen this win her matches before. And now, not even looking for the pin immediately. Learned from that rope break. And now, is this it for Nguyen? There's 2, no 3. And Nguyen now off the ropes herself, finding a nice moonsault, looking for a quick pin herself. Is this over? Not yet. Francine confidently trying to get the crowd rallied behind her, but that little backsplash has been denied. Nice takedown by Vivi. But the STF is not going to quite be enough. She got a lot of torque behind her, but Nguyen managed to break out. But a nice BFT. Quick rope break though, but now it is the turn of Vivi to try and get people rallied. But Nguyen back up and rolling. Nice set of strikes. And now, again with that Impaler DDT. Nice little chop by Vivi, but Francine breaking out of the hold. However, looking very, very indecisive. Nguyen. Now if she wants to continue, gets Vivi set up in a nice little step up enziguri. Looking for the pin. There's going to be 1, there's going to be 2, but again, kick out by Strides. Nguyen though, getting it locked in. Rolled over, and the D-winger is locked in. Vivi does not break out, but Francine gives up the hold. Does not think she's making any progress, and now sends Vivi off the ropes. Goes for the Drake fall, but is denied, and now Vivi has an opportunity. Chucks her into the corner, but gets a big elbow to the face. Strides trying to get back in control of things after the series of counters, but cannot do so. Set up into a power bomb position, and Sarah Tanner getting away for a little bit. But now, snake eyes onto that top rope, and she falls down to the bottom. Nguyen trying to go for a bit of a choke, but cannot do so. Strides breaking out nicely, but a nice little moonsault off the top rope. And Francine up to the top yet again. This time calling for her to rise. Nice arm drag. Looking for the pin. She's really hoping that exhaustion has taken its toll. And it has. Vivi had an opening after the denied Drake fall, but I think it took everything left in her to evade the danger there. And everything else was just her desperately trying to find another opportunity for that BFT, but just could not find it. And Francine Nguyen is going to be going up against Elise Vaughn next week. And Hannah will have to deal with Vivi yet again. Strides tried desperately to get things into her court, but at every turn, shut down by Nguyen.
Here is your winner.
Jackson, you owe me. I'm getting that dinner you promised me. I'll go after the show. Eliza, respect for kicking Jackson out of his seat there. He's got to remember date night. He's got to remember date night. That is the minimum. Remember date night. Give me just a moment. And now, next match up, we are going to be taking a visit over to the Revolution division. It is going to be the ringmaster Brandon Young taking on his former teammate in the Rabid Dog, Caleb Ward. Now, Caleb is a former Revolution champion. While the number of people who have held that accolade is slowly growing, it is still something that cannot be scoffed at. But Brandon is not one to be underestimated here in this position. He's not missed many Revolution gauntlets. And when the Escalation Championship was first introduced, he was a persistent contender, as well as being a former tag team champion. I'm back, Farad. Farnad. Yes, Farnad. I like Farnand the best. Farnand. How are things going, Gwen? How is the Gwish? Help! Help already? What do you need help with? You just got here. You winning son. I like, are you winning son?
And the participants, first representing the Madness from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 198 pounds, the ringer, Brandon Young.
Entering first, the ringmaster of the carnival, Young is on the hunt to get himself back into gauntlet contention. He has been more than slightly frustrated by the performance of him and Strongman Bruno on the tag team front, and more than frustrated with his own performances as a singles competitor. But will he be able to overcome an enemy from his past? And some would potentially say a self-created enemy.
And his opponent from Bismarck, North Dakota, weighing in at 203 pounds, Caleb Ward.
In his own words, he is what natural selection made him. The rabid dog, Caleb Ward. Former Revolution and former tag team champion. He is not to be underestimated. Refereeing this match, we do have Levi Vang. However, off to an early little roll-up, it is going to be Caleb. Trying the ringmaster's own tricks against him here. Looking for another early pin, but rope break called. And Ward now off the ropes, looking for that moonsault that one of the legs may have caught him. Not enough to keep Brandon down before he looks for a moonsault of his own. Got it two almost, but not quite. And Brandon immediately trying to find the abdominal stretch, but a beautiful escape out of Ward. And Caleb trying to find a little bit of an advantage in a technical match. Something that I would not advise against the ringmaster. Even if he has not found a lot of wins for his docket, that is a lot of experience there. And he has had to put a lot of training in to make up for his lack of strength. That said, Caleb back in control of things with a nice dragon screw and trying to take out the leg of Young. Wise decision to take out his base. Rabbit Dog going for a stomp that does not find anything, but now being him caught with yet another bit of chain wrestling, but Ward caught off guard. Now it is Brandon in control, trying to press the air out of the lungs of Ward. Can he maintain control? He can, turning it into a roll-up, but not enough pressure to actually turn it into anything more than that one count. However, rolled up, there's an early two almost, but a nice reversal. Brandon can only find a one count both times on Caleb. Ward did roll out of the ring, but Brandon got frustrated, started going into his own mind about what happened, and now on the receiving end of a nice little leg drop. Caleb calling Brandon back up to his feet. Nice set of chops, but no. Second one is denied, and a nice back elbow. Young learning from his mistakes that he made frequently last season. Getting that re-angle, but again rolled up by Ward. Almost finding the three is Caleb. And now Young fighting back up to his feet yet again. Set up in the corner is the Rabid Dog. Ward finds a nice knee to the head though. And a play of the game. And he's not done. Winding up for whatever he wants to look for. Off the middle rope. Nice pair of axe handles looking for the pin. We saw one of these end the match not long ago. But it's not going to end this one. Stomp to the arm of Ward. Rather the arm of Young. And now Ward waiting for Young to get back up. Tries to roll him up. for the showstopper cannot do so. And now Caleb calling him back up again. Brandon cannot stay in control of things right now, but he may have an opportunity to try and change things. Nice recoil lariat, though. Looking for the pin again is Caleb. There's two. There it is. Enough. Caleb Ward again proving why he is a former Revolution champion and why he left Carnival in the first place. See all of the attempts Ward made to get an advantage in this match. Very slowly he got control, picked apart Young. And Ward calling out for whoever is next. However, next match up, we're going to be taking a visit to the Escalation Division. It is going to be Nate the Great taking on Bennett Hayes. But Bennett did have some words for this match. Nathan the Great, or perhaps not so great after all. After all, every time you've been in a show with that self-proclaimed emperor, Nathan, you've fallen a step short. You can have say whatever you like, but it won't matter. Because this show, it is run by me and Miss Fonseca. NTG, don't bore me tonight, or you'll be receiving an ovation not of the variety you'll enjoy. At least, I never took you for a masochist. You might enjoy it. If you think about it, Maul would have been a great Grand Inquisitor. I think Maul's a step above the Grand Inquisitor. If you're taking the Grand Inquisitor as someone meant to replace Darth Vader, potentially, I think you're onto something. However, if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty much confirmed that the Inquisitors, including the Grand Inquisitor, were never meant to be remotely a threat. I do think if the point of the Grand Inquisitor is to be a potential replacement, he'd be fitting right in now. Sorry, my Star Wars nerddom is showing again. It's fine. I think somebody who actually would have been a very good Grand Inquisitor would have actually been like the way people perceive Count Dooku, where he basically just wanted to retire after the Clone Wars. I think he would have been like the perfect Grand Inquisitor. I don't think that's what Dooku actually wanted to do, but in that perception of Count Dooku, I think you are correct. That would be a very good Grand Inquisitor. Someone who just feels like they're doing what they have to do, but just wants to retire when they get to. See, is that still confirmed in canon, though? I know that's what the Revenge of the Sith book says. But is that still true to canon? Give me 1 second. I'm forgetting some of my referees. I want to make sure they all have matches this evening. It's been so long since I got to use them consistently that I no longer completely remember all their names. There we go. George himself said the book added to canon says. Okay, I did not realize that George actually said that that was canon. That's good to know, because that novelization's sweet. I think with Disney, it's put into a place of canon until contradicted. So, Cody being annoyed that the order came to blow up Obi-Wan a second later is no longer canon, because he wasn't aware he was going to be told to do it. Hokage, canon, where? Sorry, Nerd Out session needs to pause.
And the participants, first from St. Paul, Minnesota, weighing in at 191 pounds, Nate
NTG trying yet again to climb his way towards a shot at the Escalation Championship. At every single stop, as pointed out by Bennett Hayes just a few moments ago, he has been stopped by the now reigning Escalation Champion, Hu Yamashita. But he's pushed through Azrael Ramirez. He has pushed through Bennett Hayes before. But can he do it again? Or is this dream going to break down before it gets to begin? Entering next.
and his opponent, accompanied by Danielle Fonseca, representing the Originals from London, England, weighing in at 202 pounds, Bennett Hayes.
Bennett trying to find some more success on his own. The notorious one coming out alongside Danny Fonseca. who has been mostly quiet since dropping the Ascendant Championship. We'll have to see if she has any words in the near future. That said, Bennett would love to get a new singles title under his belt. He is a former Capital Champion. But everything else other than the now defunct mixed tag titles have evaded it. Refereeing this match, it is going to be Natalie Elright. Bennett needed chop early on, but NTG now on the offense. Gets him rolled over and going after the legs of Hayes. Very good decision. NTG again trying to find a bit more offense onto the leg now, going after the knee specifically of Bennett. Trying to deny him those aerial moves, not even kindly being threatened with that standing ovation. But now heading up to the middle rope is NTG. Nate cannot land the axe handles though. Dropkick mostly evaded, but there is a nice roll up. We've only got the one though. Popping back up. NTG trying to get back in control, but now fighting back into some level of control. It is Bennett trying to get pressure onto the torso of NTG, but very quickly, the Great has found a counter. Headlock applied, and now torque onto the head and neck of Bennett. Hayes trying to fight his way out, only able to fight his way back up to his feet. NTG still has a headlock solidly applied, but there is a reversal out of Bennett. Hayes fighting back into a hammerlock, trying to get more pressure onto the elbow and shoulder of NTG, but very quickly NTG back in control. Hayes needs to find a counter here, or things are going to go away from him very quickly. Torque onto the arm by NTG. We do Toadstool. It'd be very fun. Nice set of strikes out of NTG. However, there's a one, there's a two almost, but not quite. Great lined up across the ring, but evaded by Bennett. And now immediately Hayes taunting him on the ground, lands a sling blade, trying to go for a stomp, and now he's actually headed up to the top. No, from the middle rope. Senton, though, not quite enough range, grabbing the back of his head, but does get back on the offense before NTG can recover. However, the Great breaks out of the hold. Nice reversal set up in the corner, and now Bennett ramming the head of the Great into that turnbuckle and across the way, not evaded by Nate. Nice combination of strikes, and now rolled off into the center of the ring, but cannot find whatever he was looking for. Very nice escape by the Great. Now NTG set up on the top rope. Nice elbow drop to Bennett, looking for the pin. We have got a one, we got a two, almost finding a 3 count, but Bennett does survive, at least for now. However, camel clutch applied, swiftly broken out of by Hayes. Ripped off the ropes. Nice sling blade found by Bennett. And now choking him on the crown. Come on, Hayes. Pretend you respect the rules. Nice evasion by NTG, picking out the legs and now trying to fight for more, but instead tries to play it to the crowd, but Bennett back into the ring takes him down, and now out from the ropes does find the senton this time, and more smack talk out of Bennett. NTG back up to his feet, but a big series of strikes out of Hayes. The Great, though, fights his way out of that attempt at a suplex, clawing at the eyes as he does so, but cannot get onto anything himself. Rolled up now by Bennett. We have got a one, almost. But now Bennett, another senton found, and NTG struggling at this point. Nice suplex by Bennett. The Notorious One trying to keep things rolling up against this former member of the Great Ones. Bennett, happy to feel himself a bit in the corner. The crowd not too pleased with his antics, to really no real surprise. However, NTG back into the ring, fights his way out of the counter, and a nice Sister Abigail. Does not immediately look for a pin, though. Instead, trying to line him up for a nice paralyzer, but cannot get it landed, and immediately now caught into that dragon sleeper by Bennett. Hayes cannot maintain control of the hold. Fought out by NTG, but that clothesline just out of pace. Bennett just watching and waiting for him. NTG dragged back up to his feet, but not enough pressure. NTG breaks out of the hold, not for the first time, but Hayes fighting his way back up to his feet. Off the corner, nice sling blade by Bennett. Hayes bringing NTG back up to his feet yet again, and Nate cannot find a counter to that combination. And now Hayes still looking for more. Danny not getting involved in this match just yet, but a counter to that kick. And now whipped around into a big punch. Looking for the pin is Bennett. We've got one, we've got two, but no three. Hayes whipping him into the corner, taking his time to get there. However, sets him up into a nice body slam. And he's headed up to the top rope this time. Notorious One. He's lining him up. And he's looking for that standing ovation. And it does land. We've got one. We've got two. NTG, though, survives. That's reversal. Nice cardiac kick out of NTG. Cameraman having some fun over there. Sir, what are we doing with the camera? What are we doing with the camera, sir? Armbar applied by NTG outside of the ring. However, Bennett getting back in control of the hold. Fights his way out. Whips NTG into the stairs. And I really do not know what this cameraman is doing. Production, sorry, got a little drunky. Just a little bit. I just want to point out, I am not controlling this. Up to a 13 of 15. Both of them back into the ring barely in time. NTG immediately trying to get Bennett lined up on the ropes to knock him back outside. Bennett does not fight his way out, though, and now dragged up and dropped onto his back onto the apron. Stomp to the leg. Bennett is starting to take a lot of damage. But NTG needs to stay aware. Nice reversal out of Bennett. But fighting his way back up to his feet. The Great resetting the count. Nice! Frog splash. And now, again, trying to get back into the ring, but Bennett trying to stop him from doing so. Finds another nice reversal on that maneuver, and standing ovation into another Dragon Sleeper. NTG cannot fight his way out and has technically taps, but outside of the ring. Rolled in, and the Notorious One steps back in, looking for the pin. I think this is it for NTG, and it is. The show's Bennett Hayes takes the win. But NTG tried very hard, but spent too long outside of the ring, and things got away from him at the worst time possible. The Mushroom Stomp, standing ovation onto the ringside, and not going for the pin after that Sister Abigail, I think is going to be a decision that he questions for the next week. Should he have gone for that pin and seen if that was it for Hayes? Instead, did not go for it, and Bennett able to regain control of things despite the mess that happened outside. And this is the first time I believe we have seen NTG tap out.
Here is your winner, Bennett Hayes.
Hello, Gab. Welcome back. And Danny, probably a little happy she didn't have to get involved here. But the show and Bennett Hayes finding the win. All right, all of our referees have made appearances now. However, we are into our final set of matches here. There are 4 matches left on the night, only 2 of which will not be championship matches. Coming in next, it is going to be Pierre de Vachon taking on Kurt Outlaw in the Skyline division. And both of them did have words for this. Kurt Outlaw first, though. Management just couldn't get enough of me. Russell wanted less of me. At the end of our match, he was begging me to just finish him off. So I did. Paralyzed. And now I advance on to my chances to finalize the best Skyline champion to come. Me, Kurt Outlaw. He grabs the camera. Now I have to make myself known that I am no longer messing around. The math stops here. You don't have a 32% to my 68%. The Duke of Chump. You have no chance whatsoever. I'm in control of the fullest. 100% chance goes to me. Till then, you'll fall I'll win the Skyline Championship as I should have from the start. And I'll be telling management, send more. However, the camera, me scrolling on Reddit, Kurt, I'm gonna come, me the epic However, we cut to the Davishone Dynasty's locker room. Edward, you had one job 2 weeks ago. One. To keep beating Raymond. I was willing to overlook your little House of Godwin stunt, but this... Edward looks down and kind of shrugs him off. Oh, spare me, Duke. You act like you've been having a clean break. Evelyn rolls her eyes. All you two want to do is argue. Over and over. I can't fill the pages of our story with fight after fight, Pierre. Pierre looks at the judges for a moment before Godwin scoffs. It's always like this with you. One rule for you, one rule for me. And no rules for her. It was like that with Dita too. Pierre, you want me to take your orders. Grow a pair and own up to your own mistakes before riding down here on your golden horse. You want to yell at me? Fine. But don't sit there and wait for us to give a damn. Evelyn is going to write this whole dynasty story, and you're going to be barely mentioned. Pierre approaches Edward, eyeing him up and down. So, Knight, do I need to remind you who's in charge? Edward and Pierre stare at each other for several seconds. Finally, Edward looks away and walks out of shot. Hey, invisible guy. Cool. All right. Next match up, Kurt Outlaw taking on a distracted, seemingly, Pierre Davishone. Boom. Now, if I was a smart man, I would promo while grabbing people, but I am not a smart man. I'm simply college educated. There's a difference. Refereeing this match is going to be Alicia Hernandez. I want them both to lose.
And the participants, first from Nashville, Tennessee, weighing in at 252 pounds, Kurt Outlaw!
Thank you, Invisible. Most of it was made by Gab. However, entering first, it is Kurt Outlaw, former Ascendant champion, former Skyline champion, even if it was a brief stint. But can he regain that glory? he is confident he can do so. He's saying he has a 100% chance to win this match. But I think that confidence has to be proven. God, the music not happening is so awkward.
And his opponent, representing the family from Paris, France, weighing in at 212 pounds, Pierre Devotion.
I will ask you now to kneel before your Duke. Yeah, Devotion is a former Capital champion, but he has had yet to get himself restarted rolling. As much as Edward Godwin is a man that pisses me off, I cannot disagree with his statement that Pierre needs to figure himself out before he can go after anybody else. But we will have to see if the Duke can take out the Outlaw. Immediately nice takedown out of Pierre. And Kurt called back up to his feet. Clothesline, though, missed its mark for the Duke. Devotion trying to go a little bit too far, but this is a dangerous game Pierre's playing now. If he loses control of this hold, I don't think there is a chance he regains it. And nice suplex found by Kurt Outlaw, who is immediately looking for a pin. There's two. Only those two. However, immediately... brutal set of forearms to the back of the neck of Pierre, but the Duke seems relatively unaffected. Immediately now going for a senton off the ropes. Does land it, but a quick rope break. Alicia did call a rope break, but that is a brutal set of knees to the chest of Kurt. Outlaw starting to take a lot of damage, and damage he is not even kind of reciprocating. Pierre telling him to try harder because he's getting bored. Send more. I won't even have to send anyone but me. However, Kurt Outlaw overpowering, but dirty break out of Outlaw. Nice shoulder tackle, tossing him back for a nice suplex. And now on the offensive is Outlaw. Fish drop kick to the back, and now it is his turn to talk smack. But just as this was a dangerous game for Pierre to do, it is also a dangerous game for Outlaw. I think both of them would be better served avoiding those chain wrestling maneuvers. And right now, trying to fight his way back into control, it is Pierre. Whipped off the ropes. Kurt Outlaw, though, just eats a big knee to the face, and now the price of insolence locked in. Okay, Gwen. You said Evil Guish is here, and now you say you're baking like a pro. I need to know what kind of baking. Or, Jesus. Cookies his head. Pierre from the top rope. No. Decides he has a better idea. Talks smack and re-enters. Kurt, though, evades that stomp. Pierre's indecision gonna cost him dearly here. Popped up for a nice little slam. The Duke fighting back for the moment. Orphan Cookies, yeah, I'm horrified. Looking for the pin, almost getting a 3. Kurt Outlaw starting to gas out, it seems. Does evade that moonsault, though. There's the unhinged gab. I missed. Nice power bomb. And now Kurt Outlaw was trying to line up the paralyzer. Instead has to settle for that gut-wrench suplex. Still looking for the pin, though. There's 1. There's 2. Pierre kicks out at 2. Kurt Outlaw frustrated, but a kick to the head. Should have focused on continuing on. That may have been the opening that he needed. Just that little stomp. And the Dynasty's blade has fallen from the top rope. There's 2. No 3. Now, I completely missed what broke Kurt Outlaw open, but a disrespectful set of kicks out of Pierre. He's got him off the ropes. Nice little takedown. And now, disrespectful knee drop. Pierre currently in control of things, though. Despite his performance up against Dalton last week, he is on a mission here. I thought he was distracted. But a second Dynasty's blade. The crowd telling him to do it again. Pierre going, I've done enough. There's 2. Evidently, he needed the 3rd round. Kick out by Kurt. Outlaw set up in the corner, but a nice elbow gets him some freedom. However, cannot secure that hold. Dragged back up to his feet. Rolled over, though, for the price of insolence. He's near the ropes. Alicia has called them somewhat generously in the past, but it is locked in. And that is it. Kurt Outlaw has tapped out. The price of insolence has taken out Outlaw. Kurt tried very hard, got that power bomb, tried to turn it into a paralyzer, was forced to rethink his decision, turned it just into a suplex, but it was not enough to keep the Duke down, and a pissed off Pierre takes down Outlaw. I will always kneel.
Here is your winner, Duke Pierre Show.
Now, Pierre was the one who ended Hacksaw's Howard's reign. Is Pierre going to rise up to do it again if Leo cannot? That said, there is a promo out of Hacksaw Howard who has finally arrived to the arena. His truck pulls up into the arena and he gets out immediately approached by a cameraman. He doesn't even give the chance for the cameraman to say a word. Leo Carr, last week, you put up a great fight. Ultimately, you played chicken and got trucked. I'm Knockout Outlaw. Even if you do somehow take this title off me, I'm taking my pound of flesh with me. I'll see you in the main event. Howard walks towards the locker room, hand in hand with Brittany. Howard, let me bring back this stomp. No! No! That's called murder. I will not allow you to bring back murder. One night only. I want to stop someone. No. It is unhealthy. Give me just a moment. However, next match up, it is going to be...
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
Thank you for the follow, Invisible Guy. How did I not realize you weren't following? I thought you were already following. Weird. Be aware I'm willing to give up the Seth Rollins stuff just to spite you. I'm just saying, if he comes out with the Seth Rollins stomp, he will have broken Harold's rule. I said no stomps. That includes that. That is death from him. That is death. That is death. You suck. Stop trying to kill my competitors. I need breathing people. I am not a necromancer. I thought I was following you too, but I am now. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. That is where you're wrong, Brayden. I will miss Leo. If you murder Leo, I will be sad. And refereeing this match, it is going to be Levi Fang. You are the owner. Your opinion is invalid, corporate boy. No, I am the owner. My opinion is the only one that matters. The tyrant will make an appearance. You will force the tyrant. Do not force the tyrant. I can be normal for a second. We have a match. Over in the Skyline division, it is going to be Evelyn Davis-Schoen taking on Rachel Quinn. they would like to join the Discord, it has been posted. However, the crowd not overly pleased to see Evelyn. While Eve entered the circuit with a little bit of glow in her eyes, that has disappeared, and with it the crowd's appreciation. But Evelyn is not too concerned. We'll have to see if she can push through Rachel Quinn or not. Quinn has been a litmus test since she arrived here in TCWC.
And her opponent from Detroit, Michigan, Rachel Quinn.
She is the goddess, Quinn.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
Thank you for this follow, Smartus. Quinn is going to be on the hunt here. She is a former Vanquisher champion, and if I am not mistaken, I can be wrong at times here, I am a human. She is not a former Ascendant champion. I really thought she was. But we'll have to see if it is going to be enough. How are things going, S'mores? However, refereeing this match is going to be Levi Vang. An early start to this with a little bit of chain wrestling. Evelyn actually managing to overpower Quinn, which is a bit of a surprise. Clean break on it. And now nice little roll over up from the top rope. Nice elbow drop out of Evelyn, looking for the early pin onto Quinn. Only gonna be a 2 count. New fruits. Now a roll up, but a quick rope break. Levi didn't even need to be over there to know that one was a rope break. Nice little dragon screw. Rachel trying to get back into some level of control, but a nice little enziguri. Evelyn calling for her to rise back up. And now set up across that top rope. Swung over. And now off the ropes herself. Nice clothesline. Nice enziguri. A little bit of a head slam there, and now getting attacks onto the arm of Evelyn, but a nice knee strike. By the way, how are you going to make space for Jimmy? There is someone who I have that is not doing very well at all, that I think needs a break. I'll put it that way. Pull it over. Evelyn in control of the hold now. And now brutal headlock locked in up against Quinn. Evelyn staying in control despite Rachel's attempt to fight back up to her feet. A lot of torque onto the shoulder. Quinn needs to break out of this hold soon, or things are going to get very far away from her. How many times we gotta kneel, because this up and down thing is going to get done. Every time you see a member of the dynasty, you kneel. However, roll back into the ring. Quinn tries to get back into control of things. But Evelyn catches Rachel after she re-enters the ring. Quinn fights her way out of the corner, but cannot get a grip. Nice escape from that suplex by Evelyn. And David Schoen got Quinn turned over for a nice knee strike. Stomp onto the leg, but cannot stay on the offensive. Nice neck breaker, and now stomp to the arm and the back. Quinn eyeing up Evelyn. The Duchess cannot move. Duchess finds a counter just when I said she was starting to lose control. Looking for a pin. There's two. No three. And now, nice little dragon sleeper applied, but cannot stay in control. However, nice counter found by Evelyn. Turns it into a power slam and an elbow drop, and she's heading straight up to that top rope. Evelyn, off the top rope, does find a nice shoulder tackle, and there's a neck breaker to add insult to injury. However, Rachel finding her way back up to her feet. And she's finding a nice series of clotheslines, catches the leg, and nice takedown. Quinn trying to resurge. And now we've got a 1, we've got a 2. Quick out of Evelyn. And now dragged back up to her feet by Rachel. And a nice combination of strikes in and chopped back down to the mat. Quinn is on a mission right now. Go back over. Dragged. No. That brutal right hand that she likes to give is denied for now. And a tour of the Barony. We have got a 1, we've got a 2, and no 3. But Evelyn got very close. Rachel stepping back into the waiting arms, but denied. Beautiful escape out of Quinn, and drops her across that top rope. Rachel wants a new chance, and she's eyeing it up. Nice spear out of Quinn. Wisely learning from the mistake she made against Hannah Mortis so often last year. Gets her to the center, looking for the pin, and it is enough. While the Duke may have won for the Dynasty, the Duchess does not. Rachel's comeback was not shut down, and the Duchess, despite fighting back with that tour of the Barony, could not land the Vachon guillotine, and Rachel Quinn takes down the Duchess, Evelyn de Vachon. I love that the Dynasty is assumed to be Gab's. Gab may root for them, but the Davishon Dynasty is mine. He is their greatest fan, though. Gab is the greatest fan of the Dynasty. That is such a good one.
Rachel Quinn.
And Quinn happy to exchange words with the crowd after her win. She has a long road and a lot to prove if she's going to be the next challenger for Carolyn Moore's Skyline Championship. We are now into our last two matches of the evening. And both of them are going to be championship bouts. Both of them rematches from a Northern Voyage. I have this labeled as a standard match, and the match card, it is not a standard match. Marcella Jade is going to be trying to reclaim her Ascendant Championship from the victorious Gabriella Delphite. But will she be able to? Marcella has some words to the contrary. Marcella is in a dimly lit room, purple and green lights glowing from behind her frame. Gabriella, I'm sure you think your oracles foresaw your win, that your fans somehow saw what would happen. But I don't believe. I don't believe them. Dreamers, the lot of you. You think that you're going to survive as more than a 14-day champ? It's adorable and pathetic. Tonight, Dalphite, I'm going to show your oracles how worthless you are. Tonight, the dreamers are going to see only Jade. She laughs as the light falls to darkness. The last light, a green highlight of the silhouette. Give me just a moment to get things set up. No, you're good. I would have thought said help here being Kurt is my fault. To be fair, you've always rooted against Kurt. I don't think you've ever rooted for him. He's a piece of trash, Kurt. Ooh. Allow me a correction here. I messed up who is actually the champion right now. My bad. My bad. My bad. This is not the match that Marcella thought it was. I messed up who the champ was.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
But Elise Vaughn is the current Ascendant champion. My bad.
The following contest.
It's been a long 2 weeks.
Heritage Championship.
Now, as a reminder, Ascendant Championship matches are fought to a best of 3 pinfalls. Marcella Jade lost her title at Northern Voyage. And because she was able to successfully defend it from Nguyen, she has her guaranteed rematch clause. I see the hydrate, sir. But will Jade's fortunes be different here tonight? Yes, if Howard wins, will have a rematch. If Howard loses, he will not. As the rule is, you have to successfully defend your championship once before you get a rematch once. And Leo will also not have a rematch, because he will not get it defensive. And they've denied her entrance music not for the first time. It is Elise Vaughn. Elise made a return late into the season last year, in the very last month. But it has been a very successful year for her. This poor woman. Always denied her entrance music. However, entrance music denied or not, I think this is one of the best picks that Wolfric Drake was able to pick up in the draft a few months ago. Vaughn has proven to be a challenge for everyone to be. Between the Code of Silence and the Dirge, it has been a lot of buried opponents. But will tonight be the funeral for Jade? Or will it be the end of Elise's time as Ascendant Champion? But Gwen fighting words already.
From Detroit, Michigan, Marcella Jade. And her opponent from Westminster, Colorado, the Women's Heritage Champion, Ellis
Does Russell winning the Nightmare Championship give him a TCWC push? No, that is a push elsewhere. That is a BPW push, not a TCWC push. And refereeing this Ascendant match, it is going to be Madeline Kynes. As because I forgot to change the arena, ignore the prime bottle. May mission failed and slow cap me yet again. I will give myself mission failed.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
However, Marcella off to an early start in this match. Looking for the pin. We've got one. We've got two. Not quite. Looking for the roll-up is Elise, but a kick out before the one. Big kick to the back. And now Elise calling Jade back up to her feet. Nice close line. Pin. We've got one. We've got two. No three. I'm supposed to be making title right now, but I don't wanna. Why don't you want to make title? Nice backhand, but denied by Jade, saying I can do one better. And now a difficult competition for either one of them to really get an advantage in. Jade has a lot more power. The crowd very, very unhappy with this match, though. Big elbow across the jaw of Vaughn. And Jade pushed into the corner by Elise. Break up, not clean by either of them. Jade got a little bit of a cheap shot. And this time gets on an elbow from the corner again. Gets locked in for a nice kick to the gut onto Vaughn. And now dragged up for a big knee strike. Smack talk at Elise, saying, I know you're dreaming of going home with that belt, but it is mine. However, counter after counter, and it is currently Vaughn in control of things. Nice maneuver, going after the knee and the back in one go. And now the code of silence has been locked in, but very quickly. Jade able to get out of dodge before things can get real bad. But goes for a suplex, and it turns into a bulldog in favor of Vaughn. Elise hyping herself up, and now up to the top rope goes Elise. Nice splash. That sounds fun. You're burnt. Okay, being burnt out makes it understand why you don't want to work out that. Vaughn looking for the pin onto Jade again. There's two. No first fall just yet. Misjudges the distance she needed for that roll up. For that senton, now rolled up by Jade. Pick up a 4 and 1. However, a big kick out of Jade. And now Marcella locks in the fading dreams. Now, as a reminder, this vision hold will not get a fall if it is a tap, but a follow-up pin would. Big set of elbows, and now dropkick finds Vaughn, and Jade trying to stay in control as best as she can. Even trying to get the crowd hyped up behind her. That feels ambitious. However, looking for the pin after that kick to the head. There's one, there's two, no first fall. Drop back up to her feet. Nice set of strikes. Now repeated clotheslines. Whips her around for a nice drop kick on the back end of things. And we have yet to have our first fall here. Vaughn fights her way back up to her feet and lines Jade up for the no. The Dirge gets denied. That attempt at a comeback is shut down. And now the Jade Hammer has landed. We've got one. We've got two. No first fall just yet. But Jade shuts down that attempt to get back into things. Elise still fighting to try and maintain some level of control here, but again misjudged the distance on that senton. Jade cannot maintain that hold. All I gotta say, Gwen, the final batch belt's gotta be awesome. Another Jade Hammer. We have got one. We've got two. There is three. First fall in favor of Jade. But Elise trying to fight back into control here. Calling her up herself. But Jade cannot quite rise back up to her feet. But Vaughn desperately trying to drag her just a little bit too far. Oh, no. Repeated strikes now. Vaughn rolls out of the way, but slow to get back onto the offense. Nice suplex out of Jade. Vaughn back up to her feet, and Marcella gets her lined up and left to fall. Looking for the pin. We've got one. We've got two. There is three. Marcella Jade is once again your Ascendant Champion. Elise tried almost everything she had in her arsenal, but that counter on the Dirge by Jade, I think, really sealed things. That is the first time we've actually seen the Dirge get countered in that way. And that comeback attempt being shut down. There was just nothing Vaughn could do to get her foot back in the door.
Here is your winner, and new Women's Heritage Champion, Marcella Jade.
Soon the main event will come, but first let me update the champion news. As a reminder, as we went over briefly before this match began, in the case of Hacksaw Howard, Marcella Jade does not currently have a rematch clause should she lose the title again. And there's a number of people hungry for that belt. Gabriella Delphite, Vivi Strides, Francine Nguyen would love that belt back. And Elise Vaughn is going to be chomping at the bit for a second chance for herself. But with all of that said, we have arrived to our main event of the evening. It is going to be Leo Carr attempting to regain his Skyline Championship from the Hacksaw Howard. Suspended indefinitely. Does that answer your question, Braden? With no pay. Yo, Invincible guys got it.
The following contest
Stop,
is
son
a
of a
special referee match and is for the Men's Zone Championship.
We all wanna go big, then say that.
Entering in for his second match of the evening. He technically won the opener, but did not gain the title in the process. It is your maestro, the natural Leo Carr. He was your inaugural Escalation champion and a long-time Skyline champion. I mean, all I'm gonna say, Toadstool, that is just physics. Bonsai drops are not a focused point of contact. Can Hacksaw Howard, for the second time, keep up with the tempo of the maestro? All I'm gonna say, Ruby, in a moment you're going to see why this man is banned from Stomps and not everybody. He is your Skyline champion. He is the Hacksaw Howard. One of the biggest men on the roster, potentially only challenged in height by Philip Rex. You gained this title at Northern Voyage, but will he be able to secure it? Or will Leo Carr once again be the Skyline champion? And so that's another thing that Gab helped out with Invisible Guy. Not gonna lie. As much as I've been trying to replace them with non-AI over time, I have
From
not had
Chicago,
the time.
Illinois, weighing in at 203 pounds, the natural Leo Carr.
You think Oblivion forgets to shower and ate way too many
And his
burgers?
opponent from Great Falls, Montana, weighing in at 339 pounds, the men's zone champion, Hacksaw Howard.
Harold's rules can't save you outside the ring. Just saying. If you get assault charges... Ah, there we go. The long rules will apply. However, Carr trying to get offense in, but Howard just asking him what he's even trying to do. Leo, though, actually finding a very big series of counters, but Hacksaw Howard not being toppled, and there is a brutal clothesline out of the champion. There is no charges if there is no head to speak of. Roll up by Howard, there's one, but only that one. Hacksaw still got too much stamina to be toppled, but thrown off the ropes by Leo. Misses his attempt at a clothesline, and now Howard's got him back up, and Leo actually manages to evade danger. Hacksaw Howard is downed, but a nice enziguri gets Howard out of dodge. Big elbow to the back of Carr, and now that's a lot of weight onto your knees and into his own gut. I'm not sure who gets the worst end of that created lung blower, but one way or another, as things head outside of the ring, it is Leo slammed to the ground, and Hacksaw Howard actually attempting to bring Leo Carr back into the ring, at least for a moment, but a nice takedown. Does what count as a stop? Brayden, you know what I mean by the stomp. You know what I mean. Howard tossing Leo into the corner. And now Carr thrown across again. We're up to a 9 of TCWC's 15. However, reversal on the Irish whip. Hacksaw Howard thrown across the way. And Leo, confident display in the corner. Hacksaw Howard re-entering. And Leo actually finds a clothesline. Hacksaw Howard goes down. Nice moonsault to follow. We've got one. We've got only that one. The high note has landed. Going for the pin. Is it going to be over on the high note? Not yet. Even with Madeline Kynes delivering some slaps of her own. Leo, I'm not sure that's a good decision on your back, but up from the top rope, calling Howard back up to his feet. The crescendo has landed. Going for the pin is Carr. We've got one. We've got two. Still no three. Howard fighting on, but he has lost a lot of tempo here. He needs to start finding a counter and quickly, but there is a brutal clothesline, and Carr still in control of things. Welcome to your freedom, Demicons. Leo waiting inside of the ring. Pacing and just waiting for the hacksaw to rise. Calling out to the crowd, asking them if they want more music. The hacksaw has re-entered the ring, but denied anything. Big clothesline out of Howard and a stomp to the back of the head. Hacksaw Howard, nice elbow. He's got Leo rolled over, and now repeated kicks to the head of Leo, almost disrespectfully so. Gets a nice little moonsault. Not moonsault, there's body splash. There's two, but no three. Chucked into the stairs. Hacksaw Howard has regained control very confidently in this match. Champion stepping back in. Challenger still not rising back up to his feet. And take him back down to the mat with that little bit of a body slam. But Leo finds an elbow to the gut of Howard and trying to fight back into some of his control, but instead chucked into the corner. Gets a nice boot, and there's a high note. Howard brought back up to his feet. Chucked into the corner, and Leo trying to get him up, but this time cannot hold on to him. Strength has failed him. Pin attempt now out of Howard. There's two, but a kick out of Carr. He is getting a little bit frustrated. Challenger called back up to his feet and brought back onto his shoulder. Nice power slam onto Carr. And Howard heading up to that top rope. Nice body splash. Immediate rope break called, and Carr gets back up to his feet. Gets an elbow to the head of Hacksaw Howard as well, but cannot get a hold on him. Gets turned around, not for the first time. And an atomic drop. Followed up with a rib breaker. Looking for the pin again, but a quick rope break for the second time. Howard getting a little bit frustrated, it seems. Looking for the pin yet again. There's one, there's two. Carr, too exhausted to continue, goes out. And Hacksaw Howard retains the Skyline Championship. Whew. Leo Carr unable to maintain the energy he needed. I think him just falling before being able to bring Howard onto his shoulder is the biggest tell in this match. Just out of energy. And made a very major error in not going for the pin after that high note. And Leo Carr taken down by Howard.
champion, Hacksaw Howard!
Just a moment. Very, very nice win for the Hacksaw. That victory for Howard. Our match card has come to a close. And to do a quick recap of the card. The Prodigies won the Unified Tag Team Championship match, but via countout. So the Visual Antis retain. Hannah Sakamoto defeats Casey Lee. Raymond Warwick overcame El Diablo. Francine Nguyen is going to be going on to face Gabriella Delphi after defeating Vivi Strides. Caleb Ward defeated his former teammate in Brandon Young. NTG unable to rise back up through the escalation division and is defeated by Bennett Hayes. Pierre Devachon defeats Kurt Outlaw. Rachel Quinn makes short work of Evelyn Devachon. Elise Vaughn defeated by Marcella Jade. And Hacksaw Howard retaining the Skyline Championship. Now, a date for you all to keep in mind is going to be July 24th, as the kingdom will come. I will catch you guys tomorrow for TCWC Tussle. And I hope you guys enjoyed the evening. But I am going to be on my way out. I just gotta check real fast if someone is still alive or not. Yes, he is. We're gonna go over and raid Shoshila. And I wish you guys a wonderful evening.